Many of the world's most beloved celebrities hid a heartbreaking secret, battling AIDS while continuing to inspire millions. From legendary musicians to iconic actors, their struggles and untimely deaths not only shook their fans, but also brought global attention to an epidemic that changed history. Among them is Freddie Mercury, the legendary frontman of Queen, was one of the most iconic performers in music history. Known for his powerful voice and electrifying stage presence, he led Queen to global fame with hits like Bohemian Rhapsody, We Are the Champions, and Don't Stop Me Now. His talent and charisma made Queen one of the most influential rock bands of all time. In the late 1980s, rumors began to circulate about Freddie's health. Despite being visibly thinner and more reclusive, he kept his condition private. In 1987, he was diagnosed with AIDS, a devastating disease that had no effective treatment at the time. Freddie chose to keep his illness a secret, even from some close friends, to avoid media scrutiny and protect his loved ones. As his health deteriorated, Freddie continued to create music, releasing hits like The Show Must Go On. On November 23, 1991, he publicly acknowledged his battle with AIDS. Just a day later, he passed away at the age of 45 from AIDS-related pneumonia. His death brought massive attention to the AIDS epidemic, leading to increased awareness and funding for research. Freddie's courage and legacy continue to inspire millions around the world. Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson was one of Hollywood's biggest stars in the 1950s and 1960s. Known for his tall, handsome looks and charm, he starred in films like Giant, alongside Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean, which earned him an Oscar nomination. He was also famous for romantic comedies like Pillow Talk with Doris Day. His career made him a symbol of classic Hollywood masculinity. In 1985, Rock shocked the world when he announced that he had been diagnosed with AIDS. At the time, AIDS was a poorly understood disease surrounded by fear and stigma. His announcement made him the first major Hollywood celebrity to publicly acknowledge having AIDS. The news brought immense public attention to the disease, especially since Rock had been a beloved figure in Hollywood and around the world. Rock's condition deteriorated rapidly after his announcement. He died later that year, on October 2, 1985, at the age of 59. His death marked a turning point in public awareness of AIDS. Many in Hollywood, including his close friend Elizabeth Taylor, became outspoken advocates for AIDS research and support. Rock Hudson's bravery in revealing his diagnosis helped change the conversation about AIDS and encouraged efforts to fight the epidemic. Liberis was one of the most flamboyant and beloved entertainers of the 20th century. Known for his dazzling costumes, lavish stage sets, and unmatched piano skills, he became a household name in the 1950s and 1960s. His TV show, concerts, and Vegas performances made him a global icon. Liberis's style was unique. He combined classical music with pop hits, often adding humor and charm to his acts. Despite his fame, Liberis kept his personal life intensely private, including his health struggles. In the mid-1980s, he began to show signs of illness, including significant weight loss. However, he denied rumors about his health and insisted he was fine. In truth, Liberis had been diagnosed with AIDS. He and his team worked hard to keep his condition a secret, fearing public backlash due to the stigma surrounding both AIDS and homosexuality at the time. Liberis died on February 4, 1987, at the age of 67. His official cause of death was reported as a heart attack, but an autopsy later confirmed it was due to complications from AIDS. His death shocked fans worldwide and brought further attention to the AIDS epidemic. Liberis's impact on music and pop culture remains legendary, even decades later. Anthony Perkins. Anthony Perkins was an acclaimed actor, best known for his chilling portrayal of Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. The role earned him a place in cinematic history, with his performance as the disturbed motel owner remaining iconic to this day. Beyond Psycho, Perkins starred in several films during the 1950s and 1960s, including Friendly Persuasion, which earned him an Oscar nomination. He was celebrated for his ability to bring complexity to his characters. Perkins was a private individual, and his personal life was shielded from the public eye. In the late 1980s, he was diagnosed with AIDS, a disease that was still heavily stigmatized. He chose to keep his diagnosis secret, even from close friends and collaborators. Despite his declining health, Perkins continued to work in film and television, showing remarkable resilience. He passed away on September 12, 1992, at the age of 60 due to AIDS-related pneumonia. It was only after his death that the public learned of his illness. Perkins's wife later revealed that he wanted to protect his family from the stigma associated with AIDS. Anthony Perkins's legacy endures through his unforgettable performances, especially in Psycho, which continues to influence filmmakers and actors worldwide. Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov was one of the most prolific and influential science fiction writers of the 20th century. Best known for his Foundation series, Asimov crafted a future filled with complex ideas about science, politics, and human behavior. His works, which also included the Robot series, helped shape modern science fiction, earning him fans worldwide. Asimov's life took a tragic turn in 1983 when he underwent heart surgery. During the procedure, he received a blood transfusion that unknowingly carried HIV. At the time, blood screening for the virus was not widely practiced, leaving Asimov vulnerable. He contracted HIV, which later developed into AIDS, but his condition was kept private due to the stigma surrounding the disease. Isaac Asimov passed away on April 6, 1992, at the age of 72. The official cause of death was heart and kidney failure, but his family later revealed that complications from AIDS contributed to his passing. This revelation, shared years after his death, shocked the literary and scientific communities. Asimov's case highlighted the risks of early blood transfusion practices and helped challenge the stigma surrounding AIDS, especially in intellectual circles. His contributions to science fiction remain timeless, inspiring generations of writers and thinkers. Rudolf Nureyev. Rudolf Nureyev was one of the greatest ballet dancers of the 20th century. Born in the Soviet Union, his extraordinary talent and unmatched charisma revolutionized the world of classical ballet. Known for his technical precision and emotional intensity, Nureyev became a global sensation after defecting to the West in 1961. He performed with prestigious companies like the Royal Ballet, and later served as the director of the Paris Opera Ballet. His choreography and performances remain legendary, inspiring countless dancers. In the 1980s, Nureyev's health began to decline. Although he tried to keep it a secret, it was later revealed that he had contracted HIV, which eventually progressed to AIDS. Despite the disease weakening his body, Nureyev continued to perform and choreograph, showing incredible determination and love for his art. He worked tirelessly, refusing to let his illness define him or his career. Nureyev passed away on January 6, 1993, at the age of 54 from AIDS-related complications. His death was a significant loss to the world of dance. Nureyev's legacy lives on through his contributions to ballet and his courage in facing his illness. He is remembered not only for his artistry, but also for his unwavering spirit in the face of adversity. Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe was a tennis legend and a trailblazer in the world of sports. As the first African-American man to win a Grand Slam title, including victories at Wimbledon, the US Open, and the Australian Open, he broke racial barriers in tennis. Beyond the court, Ashe was a passionate civil rights advocate, using his platform to fight for equality and justice. In 1983, Ashe underwent heart surgery and received a blood transfusion. At the time, blood was not thoroughly screened for HIV, and Ashe unknowingly contracted the virus. He lived with the condition in private for several years, continuing his work as an advocate and author. In 1992, Ashe publicly announced his diagnosis after rumors began to circulate. His bravery in revealing his illness brought significant attention to the AIDS epidemic, particularly highlighting how it could affect people outside of the perceived at-risk groups. Ashe passed away on February 6, 1993, at the age of 49, due to AIDS-related pneumonia. Before his death, he established the Arthur Ashe Foundation for the Defeat of AIDS, dedicated to education, prevention, and research. His legacy as a champion, activist, and advocate continues to inspire millions, emphasizing the importance of compassion and awareness in the fight against AIDS. Gia Karangi. Gia Karangi was one of the world's first supermodels, known for her stunning beauty and natural charisma in front of the camera. Rising to fame in the late 1970s, Gia graced the covers of major magazines like Vogue and Cosmopolitan. Her edgy look and rebellious personality set her apart, making her a favorite in the fashion industry. Despite her success, Gia struggled with inner demons. She turned to drugs, particularly heroin, to cope with the pressures of fame and her personal insecurities. Her addiction soon spiraled out of control, affecting her career and relationships. By the early 1980s, Gia's work had dwindled, and she found herself estranged from the industry that once celebrated her. In the mid-1980s, Gia was diagnosed with AIDS, a disease she contracted from using contaminated needles. At the time, AIDS was poorly understood and heavily stigmatized, making her battle even more isolating. Gia passed away on November 18, 1986, at the age of 26, becoming one of the first women in the fashion industry to succumb to the disease. Gia's tragic story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of drug addiction. Her life and death also brought attention to the modeling world's darker side, influencing industry standards and attitudes toward health and well-being. Keith Haring. Keith Haring was a groundbreaking pop artist whose bold, vibrant work brought art to the public in an entirely new way. Known for his distinctive line drawings and symbols like radiant babies, barking dogs, and human figures, Haring's art was both playful and deeply meaningful. His pieces often carried social messages about love, unity, and equality, making him a key figure in 1980s pop culture. In 1988, Haring was diagnosed with AIDS at a time when the disease carried significant stigma. Instead of retreating, he used his art to raise awareness about AIDS, turning his personal battle into a public mission. He created works that highlighted the urgency of the epidemic and advocated for compassion and understanding. In 1989, he founded the Keith Haring Foundation to support AIDS organizations and children's programs, ensuring his work would continue to make a difference even after his passing. Haring died on February 16, 1990, at the age of 31, due to AIDS-related complications. Despite his short life, his impact on the art world and AIDS advocacy was profound. His art remains celebrated worldwide, and his efforts to fight the stigma surrounding AIDS helped pave the way for greater awareness and acceptance. Klaus Nomi. Klaus Nomi was a one-of-a-kind performer whose avant-garde style left a lasting mark on music and fashion. Born in Germany, he moved to New York City in the 1970s, where his unique blend of opera, pop, and new wave music gained him a cult following. Nomi's theatrical performances, featuring his operatic countertenor voice and futuristic costumes, were unlike anything audiences had seen. His otherworldly stage presence and daring creativity made him a trailblazer in the art and music scenes. In the early 1980s, Nomi's health began to decline, though he kept his struggles private. He was diagnosed with AIDS, a disease still poorly understood and deeply stigmatized at the time. As one of the first prominent artists to succumb to AIDS-related complications, his battle with the illness went largely unspoken during his lifetime. Nomi's declining health forced him to step away from performing, and he spent his final months in isolation. Klaus Nomi passed away on August 6, 1983, at the age of 39. His death brought early attention to the devastating impact of AIDS, particularly within the arts community. His influence on avant-garde music and fashion endures, inspiring generations of artists to push boundaries and embrace individuality. Tom Fogerty. Tom Fogerty was a talented guitarist and songwriter, best known as a member of the iconic rock band Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR. Alongside his brother John Fogerty, Tom contributed to the band's success with hits like Proud Mary and Bad Moon Rising. While John took on the role of lead vocalist and primary songwriter, Tom's rhythm guitar provided the solid foundation that helped define CCR's distinctive sound. After leaving the band in 1971, due to creative differences, Tom pursued a solo career. Though his solo work didn't achieve the same level of success as CCR, it showcased his passion for music and his individual artistry. In the mid-1980s, Tom's life took a tragic turn when he was infected with HIV through a tainted blood transfusion, a common risk before proper screening was implemented. The virus eventually progressed to AIDS, severely affecting his health. Despite his struggles, Tom continued to make music until his condition worsened. He passed away on September 6, 1990, at the age of 48 from AIDS-related complications. Tom's death highlighted the widespread impact of AIDS beyond the traditionally perceived groups. His contributions to rock music remain timeless, and his legacy lives on through CCR's enduring popularity. Jermaine Stewart. Jermaine Stewart was a talented singer and performer, best known for his 1986 hit song, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off. The upbeat track, with its catchy melody and positive message about self-respect, became an anthem of the 1980s, reaching the top 10 in several countries. His smooth vocals and energetic performances made him a standout artist during a competitive era in pop music. Born in Ohio, Stewart's musical career began with backup singing for artists like Shalimar and The Temptations before he pursued a solo career. His debut album gained moderate success, but his second album, Frantic Romantic, catapulted him to fame. Despite this success, his career began to decline in the early 1990s due to changes in the music industry and personal struggles. In the mid-1990s, Jermaine was diagnosed with AIDS. He kept his illness private, battling it quietly as his health deteriorated. On March 17, 1997, Stewart passed away at the age of 39 from AIDS-related complications. His death was a significant loss to the music world. Jermaine Stewart's work, particularly his iconic hit, continues to inspire listeners, reminding people of the power of music to spread messages of love and positivity. Eazy-E, born Eric Lynn Wright, was a trailblazing rapper and a founding member of NWA, a group credited with bringing gangsta rap to mainstream audiences. Known as the godfather of gangsta rap, Eazy-E's raw lyrics and entrepreneurial spirit shaped hip-hop culture in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Hits like Boys in the Hood and Straight Outta Compton solidified his place as a rap pioneer. In early 1995, Eazy-E experienced severe health problems and was hospitalized. It was then that he publicly revealed he had been diagnosed with AIDS. The announcement shocked fans and the music industry, as Eazy-E had not previously disclosed any signs of illness. He used his platform to raise awareness, encouraging others to educate themselves about the disease. His openness, however brief, helped break down the stigma surrounding AIDS, especially in the African American and hip-hop communities. Eazy-E passed away on March 26, 1995, just weeks after his diagnosis, at the age of 30. His sudden death highlighted the devastating speed at which AIDS could progress. Despite his controversial life and lyrics, Eazy-E's impact on music is undeniable. His legacy endures through NWA's influence and the awareness his battle with AIDS brought to underserved communities. Alvin Ailey. Alvin Ailey was a celebrated choreographer and the founder of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, a company that transformed modern dance by blending traditional ballet with African American cultural themes. Born in Texas, Ailey rose from humble beginnings to become a pioneer in the arts, creating works that showcase the beauty and complexity of Black culture. His groundbreaking masterpiece, Revelations, remains one of the most performed ballets in the world. In the 1980s, Ailey's health began to decline, but he kept his struggles private. Diagnosed with AIDS, Ailey chose not to disclose his condition publicly, likely due to the stigma surrounding the disease at the time. Despite his illness, he continued to oversee his dance company, ensuring it remained a platform for underrepresented voices and innovative works. On December 1, 1989, Alvin Ailey passed away at the age of 58 due to AIDS-related complications. His death was a profound loss to the dance world, but his legacy lived on. The Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater continues to perform worldwide, inspiring new generations of dancers and audiences. Ailey's courage and artistic vision not only redefined modern dance, but also brought attention to the impact of AIDS on the creative community. Halston, born Roy Halston Froeck, was an iconic fashion designer who revolutionized American style in the 1970s. Known for his minimalist yet elegant designs, Halston created timeless pieces that defined an era. His signature looks, such as the halter dress and ultra-suede shirt dress, became staples in women's wardrobes. Halston's designs were favored by celebrities like Jackie Kennedy, Liza Minnelli, and Bianca Jagger, making him a household name in the world of fashion. In the 1980s, Halston's health began to decline. Diagnosed with HIV, he kept his illness private, much like many others during that time, due to the stigma surrounding AIDS. As the disease progressed, his ability to work diminished. Despite his condition, Halston remained involved in the fashion world, continuing to influence the industry through his innovative ideas and vision. Halston passed away on March 26, 1990, at the age of 57, from AIDS-related complications. His death marked a significant loss for the fashion world, as he had transformed American fashion into a global force. Halston's legacy endures through his timeless designs and the bold simplicity he brought to high fashion. His story also highlights the devastating impact of AIDS on creative industries during the epidemic. Peter Allen was an Australian entertainer and songwriter known for his dynamic stage presence and heartfelt compositions. Born in New South Wales, he rose to fame as part of the musical duo The Allen Brothers before launching a successful solo career. Allen's charm and talent made him a beloved performer on the international stage, and his ability to connect with audiences earned him a devoted following. His song, I Go to Rio, became a signature hit, and he wrote popular classics such as Don't Cry Out Loud and I Honestly Love You, which won a Grammy for Olivia Newton-John. Allen also left a lasting mark on Broadway. His life story inspired the musical The Boy from Oz, which became a hit and celebrated his journey from a small-town boy to a global star. Despite his professional success, Allen faced personal challenges, including his battle with AIDS. Diagnosed in the late 1980s, he kept his illness private, continuing to perform until his health declined. On June 18, 1992, Allen passed away at the age of 48 due to AIDS-related complications. His death was a loss to the music and theatre worlds. Peter Allen's legacy lives on through his unforgettable songs and the joy he brought to audiences worldwide. Michel Foucault was a renowned French philosopher whose groundbreaking ideas reshaped the fields of philosophy, sociology, and history. A leading figure in postmodernism, Foucault's work explored the relationships between power, knowledge, and society. His influential books, such as Discipline and Punish and the History of Sexuality, analyzed how institutions and societal norms shape human behavior. His ideas challenged traditional views, earning him both acclaim and criticism, but his impact on academia was undeniable. In the early 1980s, Foucault began to experience health issues. He was later diagnosed with AIDS, a disease that was poorly understood and highly stigmatized at the time. Foucault did not publicly disclose his condition, preferring to keep his personal life private. Despite his declining health, he continued to work and publish, showing remarkable dedication to his intellectual pursuits. His final volume of The History of Sexuality was published shortly before his death. Foucault passed away on June 25, 1984, at the age of 57 due to complications from AIDS. His death marked one of the earliest high-profile cases of AIDS in intellectual circles, bringing attention to the disease's reach. Foucault's legacy endures, as his ideas continue to influence scholars and spark debate in numerous disciplines worldwide. Howard Ashman was a brilliant lyricist whose work brought magic to some of Disney's most beloved animated films. Known for his collaboration with composer Alan Menken, Ashman crafted the unforgettable lyrics for The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. His songs, such as Part of Your World, Under the Sea, and Be Our Guest, combined humor, emotion, and storytelling, helping to define Disney's Renaissance era in the late 1980s and early 1990s. In the late 1980s, Ashman was diagnosed with HIV, which later progressed to AIDS. At a time when the disease was surrounded by fear and stigma, he kept his condition a secret from most of his colleagues. Despite his declining health, Ashman continued to work tirelessly on Beauty and the Beast. He infused his personal struggles into the project, using his pain to add depth and emotion to the film's themes. Howard Ashman passed away on March 14, 1991, at the age of 40, just months before the release of Beauty and the Beast. Disney honored him in the film's credits with a heartfelt dedication. To our friend Howard, who gave a mermaid her voice and a beast his soul. Ashman's legacy lives on through his timeless music, which continues to enchant audiences worldwide. Willie Smith was a talented baseball player whose career left an enduring mark on the sport. While not as widely recognized as some of his contemporaries, Smith was celebrated for his versatility and dedication to the game. Born in 1939, he made his Major League Baseball (MLB) debut in the 1960s and quickly gained respect for his skill as both a pitcher and a hitter. a rare combination in professional baseball. Over the years, he played for several teams, leaving behind a legacy of determination and love for the game. In the early 1980s, Willie Smith was diagnosed with HIV, which eventually progressed to AIDS. At a time when the disease was misunderstood and heavily stigmatized, his diagnosis shocked the sports community. Like many others, Smith faced immense challenges as the stigma associated with AIDS often overshadowed the individual's accomplishments. Smith passed away in 1985 from complications related to AIDS. His death was one of the earliest high-profile cases within the sports world, highlighting how the disease affected people across all walks of life. Willie Smith's contributions to baseball remain a testament to his talent and perseverance, and his story helped draw attention to the need for greater awareness and compassion during the AIDS epidemic. Brad Davis. Brad Davis was an acclaimed actor best known for his powerful performance in the 1978 film Midnight Express, where he portrayed Billy Hayes, an American imprisoned in Turkey. His intense and emotional portrayal earned him a Golden Globe Award and cemented his reputation as a rising star in Hollywood. Davis also appeared in other notable films and TV shows, including Querelle and Chariots of Fire. In the mid-1980s, Davis was diagnosed with HIV, which later developed into AIDS. At the time, AIDS carried immense stigma, and many in Hollywood kept their diagnoses hidden out of fear of career repercussions. However, Davis chose to confront his illness openly, becoming one of the few actors to speak out about his condition. He criticized the entertainment industry for its silence and lack of support for those battling the disease. Brad Davis continued to work as long as his health allowed, demonstrating remarkable courage and dedication to his craft. On September 8, 1991, he passed away at the age of 41 due to AIDS-related complications. His honesty about his battle with AIDS helped challenge the stigma surrounding the disease in Hollywood and beyond, making him a symbol of bravery and resilience in the face of adversity. Perry Ellis. Perry Ellis was a visionary fashion designer who revolutionized American sportswear with his innovative and elegant designs. Born in Virginia in 1940, Ellis initially pursued a career in retail and merchandising before launching his own fashion line in the 1970s. He became known for his fresh take on casual wear, blending comfort with sophistication. His designs, including tailored sweaters, loose-fitting trousers, and modern separates, redefined the way Americans dressed, earning him widespread acclaim and several prestigious awards, including the Council of Fashion Designers of America (CFDA) award. In the early 1980s, Ellis's health began to decline, although he continued to work tirelessly on his collections. Diagnosed with HIV, which developed into AIDS, Ellis chose to keep his condition private, as the disease carried significant stigma during that time. Despite his illness, he maintained his creative energy, producing collections that reflected his innovative spirit. Perry Ellis passed away on May 30, 1986, at the age of 46, from AIDS-related complications. His death was a profound loss for the fashion world. Ellis's impact on modern fashion remains enduring, as his designs continue to influence contemporary trends. His legacy also underscores the devastating toll of AIDS on the creative community during the epidemic. Tommy Morrison. Tommy Morrison was a talented heavyweight boxer and actor, best known for his role as Tommy Gunn in the 1990 movie Rocky V. Morrison's boxing career flourished in the early 1990s with an aggressive fighting style and powerful punches that earned him the nickname The Duke. In 1993, he won the WBO heavyweight title by defeating George Foreman, solidifying his reputation as a rising star in the sport. In 1996, Morrison's career took a shocking turn when he tested positive for HIV during a routine medical examination. He immediately retired from boxing and became an advocate for safe sex and HIV awareness. However, Morrison later questioned the accuracy of his diagnosis and denied having the virus, leading to confusion and controversy. He attempted several comebacks in boxing, but his condition and the stigma surrounding it overshadowed his efforts. Morrison's health continued to decline in the 2000s as he battled complications related to HIV/AIDS. He passed away on September 1, 2013, at the age of 44. His death highlighted the persistent stigma surrounding HIV, particularly in the sports world. Tommy Morrison's story remains a cautionary tale, reflecting both the triumphs and tragedies of a life shaped by athletic talent and personal struggles. Reinaldo Arenas. Reinaldo Arenas was a gifted Cuban poet and novelist whose work captured the struggles of political repression and personal freedom. Born in 1943 in rural Cuba, Arenas displayed early talent as a writer. His first novel, Celestino Before Dawn, won critical acclaim and marked him as a rising literary star. However, his open criticism of Fidel Castro's regime and his homosexuality made him a target of persecution in Cuba. Arenas faced imprisonment in the 1970s for his political views and was forced to smuggle his works out of prison to be published abroad. His writings, including The Pentagonia, a series of 5 novels, became powerful critiques of totalitarianism and celebrated the resilience of the human spirit. After his release, Arenas fled Cuba during the Mariel boat lift in 1980 and resettled in New York City, where he continued to write prolifically. In the 1980s, Arenas was diagnosed with AIDS. As his health deteriorated, he channeled his energy into completing his autobiography, Before Night Falls, a poignant memoir of his life under oppression and his battle with illness. Arenas passed away on December 7, 1990, at the age of 47, choosing to end his life before AIDS could further debilitate him. His legacy as a dissident and literary icon endures, inspiring readers worldwide. Hervé Villechaize. Hervé Villechaize was a beloved actor best known for his role as Tattoo on the hit television show Fantasy Island. With his memorable catchphrase, Diplan, Diplan, Villechaize became a cultural icon in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Born in France in 1943, he suffered from a condition called dwarfism, which shaped his unique physical appearance. Despite facing challenges due to his stature, Villechaize pursued a career in acting and gained recognition for his talent and charisma. In addition to Fantasy Island, Villechaize appeared in films such as The Man with the Golden Gun, where he played the villainous henchman Nick Nack, earning him further acclaim. However, his fame was accompanied by personal struggles, including health issues and emotional challenges. In 1993, Hervé Villechaize passed away at the age of 50. Initially, his death was reported as a result of suicide, but it later emerged that he had been battling complications related to AIDS. This revelation highlighted the stigma surrounding the disease at the time. Villechaize's life and career remain a testament to his determination to succeed despite adversity. His contributions to television and film continue to be celebrated, and his story underscores the impact of AIDS on individuals from all walks of life. Roy Cohn. Wait, you're still watching but not subscribed? That's like going to a party, enjoying all the snacks, and refusing to say hello to the host. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, and you won't miss any of the drama. Roy Cohn was a controversial lawyer and political figure whose career was marked by influence, power, and scandal. Born in 1927 in New York City, Cohn rose to prominence in the 1950s as the chief counsel to Senator Joseph McCarthy during the infamous anti-communist hearings. Known for his aggressive tactics and willingness to destroy reputations, Cohn played a key role in McCarthy's pursuit of alleged communists in government and society. His work during the Red Scare cemented his reputation as a ruthless and polarizing figure. Following the McCarthy era, Cohn became a prominent lawyer in New York, representing high-profile clients, including real estate mogul Donald Trump. His connections to powerful individuals helped him maintain his influence, even as accusations of unethical behavior dogged his career. Cohn was also known for his staunch opposition to LGBTQ rights, a stance that contrasted starkly with his personal life as a closeted gay man. In the early 1980s, Cohn was diagnosed with HIV, which later developed into AIDS. Despite his declining health, he vehemently denied having the disease, claiming instead that he was suffering from liver cancer. His refusal to acknowledge his diagnosis was consistent with the stigma surrounding AIDS at the time and his own denial of his sexuality. Roy Cohn passed away on August 2, 1986, at the age of 59. His death sparked renewed scrutiny of his life and legacy. While some view him as a master manipulator who used his power to harm others, others see him as a product of his era, shaped by its prejudices and fears. Cohn's life serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the personal toll of living in denial. His struggles with AIDS also highlight the broader challenges faced by individuals during the epidemic's early years. What do you think about the lives and stories of these 25 incredible figures who left an indelible mark despite their battles with AIDS? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And before you go, don't miss our next fascinating video, 25 celebrities who predicted their own deaths. Click on the screen now to uncover these eerie and unforgettable stories.